Good day everyone, this is Aimy SABELINO. In this video, I will present to you the Proclamation number 1081, Series 1972, an Educational Revolution.
I signed Proclamation number 1081, placing the entire Philippines under martial law.
Ipinailalim ang buong Pilipinas sa batas militar.
Proclamation number 1081, Series 1972. President Ferdinand E. Marcos Sr. signed Proclamation number 1081 on September 21, 1972, placing the Philippines under martial law. At 7:17 p.m. on September 23, 1972, President Ferdinand Marcos Sr. announced that he had placed the entirety of the Philippines under martial law. This is Ferdinand Emmanuel Edralin Marcos Sr. He was a Filipino politician who served as the 10th President of the Philippines from 1965 to 1986. He was born on September 11, 1917 and died on September 28, 1989 at the age of 72. His spouse is Imelda Marcos. Ferdinand Marcos Sr. is the father of Ferdinand Marcos Jr., who is our current president. Okay, what is martial law? Martial law involves the temporary substitution of military authority for civilian rule and is usually invoked in time of war, rebellion, or natural disaster. When martial law is in effect, the military commander of an area or country has unlimited authority to make and enforce laws. Martial law was declared due to an existing threat of the Philippine government. The Philippine government set out to reform the country in a new society order, which was called New Society. Some notable events leading up to the declaration of martial law. First is the First Quarter Storm. It is the nationwide student demonstration that took place on January 26, 1970, proved how militant student organizations had achieved a high level of organization and commitment from its followers. The violent demonstrations that would extend to March of that same year would become known as the First Quarter Storm. Next is the Battle of Mendiola. On January 30, 1970, some 10,000 chanting students and laborers marched across Mendiola Bridge in an attempt to storm the Malacanang. Upon their arrival at the gates of the palace, they commandeered a fire truck and rammed it through the main gate. The Diliman Commune. The Diliman Commune was a 9-day uprising at the University of the Philippines, Diliman, from February 1 to February 9, 1971. It started out as a peaceful rally in which students voiced their support for the ongoing strike against the oil price hike and escalated into an uprising in which students, supported by the school administration, protested against military incursions into the university. Next is the Plaza Miranda bombing. On August 21, 1971, 4 grenades were hurled at the stage of the Liberal Party's grand meeting, the Avance, at Plaza Miranda in Quiapo, Manila, killing 9 and wounding 95 others. A great number of party's leaders and senatorial candidates were seriously injured. After the declaration of martial law, the government officials, departments, military, and bureaus sat together for the implementations of the President's orders. All schools in all year level, both public and private schools, were temporarily closed but was reopened on October 1972. The Philippines experienced a rise in student activism in the late 1960s and early 1970s. These might be attributed to the beginning of the Marcos administration and the declaration of martial law, which saw tens of thousands of violations of human rights among many other things. Here are some student activism in universities. University of the Philippines, Diliman, or UP Diliman. The university played an active role in conducting demonstrations, marches, and rallies to raise awareness of sectoral struggles and to campaign against the Marcos dictatorship and land reform policy, among others. The Diliman Commune. In 1971, students who formed the Diliman Commune, supported by faculty members and non-academic personnel, occupied the Diliman campus and barricade roads to protest deteriorating conditions in the country during the administration. Ateneo de Manila University, or ADMO. Several activists from the Ateneo de Manila University, most notable Edgardo Hill Idhop or Hobson, founder of the single biggest student union at the time, National Union of Students of the Philippines, NAU-SP, and Ferdinand Ferdi Arceo, founder of Ligang Demokratiko ng Ateneo or LDA, played vital roles in campaigning to overthrow the dictatorship. Among the other well-known activists from the university are Lazaro Lazi Selva Jr. and William Bilbeg, active members of Samahang Demokratiko ng Kabataan sa Loyola or SDKL and Kabataang Makabayan Ateneo KM, respectively, and Artemio June Celestial Jr., a member of the Student Catholic Action and the Secretary General of the Student Government. Founding of Ligang Demokratiko ng Ateneo or LDA. Ferdi, together with the like-minded students in ADMO, established LDA in 1917, the first radical activist organization in Ateneo. Members conducted discussion groups, recruited students, advised student leaders, and created a space for dialogue among members of the student body. Next is the National Union of Students or NUSP Iloilo Conference. During the NUSP's 13th annual conference in 1969, Idhop was elected as president. When delegates returned to Manila, they led a huge rally in front of Congress, all while President Marcos was delivering his State of the Nation address or SONA. Under Idhop's two-term tenure, the National Union became participative in social-political issues amidst the first quarter storm that brought forth the second propaganda movement. Next is the De La Salle University or DLSU. At De La Salle University, then De La Salle College, students activists clashed with the school administration over matters involving the Brother Becker case, NROTC, tuition fees and student rights, and academic freedom. The activists questioned the elitist orientation of the institution and campaigned for a more nationalistic education. Next is the Philippinization of education. The prevalence of the affluent was one of the issues that was brought up in the 1960s. It was a question of whether the wide cross-section of the public could be represented. Questioning why a Philippine institution had an administrator who was American, textbooks that were written by foreigners, and instruction that was done in English. Student activists urged the administration to adopt a more nationalistic stance. Included in this was their call for the Philippinization of education by ousting non-Filipino presidents of schools, colleges, and universities, and appointing qualified Filipinos to head the institutions in their place. The Brother Becker case. On Friday afternoon on December 6, 1968, more than 600 students held a 4-hour demonstration to show their support for Brother Edward Becker, FST, who was dismissed by the college. The circulated leaflets, which divulged the imputations hurled against Becker. This case provided the students the opportunity to voice their concerns regarding academic freedom as well as students' rights. Arthur Aguilar, student council chairman, eventually managed to steer the dialogue away from the Becker case in a meeting with Brother H. Gabriel Conon, FSC, and Dr. Waldo Perfecto, academic vice president, on December 8, 1968, during the Fest of the Immaculate Conception. He declared that the issue was only incidental and the Becker case was merely a catalyst, the final straw, so to speak, which ignited student protest over school policies. Reserve Officers Training Corps, or ROTC. On July 17, 1971, some 600 cadets refused to attend an NROTC drill, with their refusal stemming from their dissatisfaction with the present NROTC system, as well as their protest against the hazing of shore patrol trainees by probationary officers. The Student Council backed this boycott in a resolution. Educational system during martial law. The Department of Education became Department of Education and Culture on 1972. And in 1978, it became Ministry of Education and Culture. 1982, it became Ministry of Education, Culture, and Sports. A bilingual education scheme was established in 1974, requiring English and Filipino to be used in school. Science and mathematics subjects as well as English language and literature classes were taught in English, while the rest were taught in Filipino. Educational Development Decree of 1972, or the Presidential Decree number 6-A, September 29, 1972. The educational system aims to provide for a broad general education that will assist each individual in the peculiar ecology of his own society to attain his potential as a human being, enhance the range and quality of individual and group participation in the basic functions of society, and acquire the essential educational foundation for his development into a productive and versatile citizen. Next is to train the nation's manpower in the middle-level skill required for national development. Next is develop the high-level professions that will provide leadership for the nation, advance knowledge through research, and apply new knowledge for improving the quality of human life. And last is respond effectively to changing needs and conditions of the nation through a system of educational planning and evaluation. The literary revolution during martial law. The youth became completely rebellious during this period. This was proven not only in the bloody demonstrations and in the sidewalk expressions but also in literature. Campus newspapers showed rebellious emotions. The once aristocratic writers developed awareness for society. They held pens and wrote on placards in red paint the equivalent of the word makabaka or to dare. They attacked the ills of society and politics. Any establishment became the symbol of the ills that had to be changed. The frustrations of youth could be felt in churches and schools. Even the priests, teachers, and parents as authorities who should be respected became targets of the radical youth and were thought of as hindrances to the changes they sought. The literature of the activists reached a point where they stated boldly what should be done to effect these changes. Some of those who rallied to this revolutionary form of literature were Rolando Tino, Rogelio Mangajas, Efren Abweg, Rio Alma, and Clemente Bautista. And that's all for the Proclamation 1081 Series 1972 Educational Revolution. Thank you for watching.